What is going on, my fellow EDC nerds and enthusiasts? Today I wanted to do a complete breakdown of the Hinderer Eclipse. I got this about actually a week ago today. I've carried it every single day, and I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this thing. It feels sturdy, it feels robust. The automatic button deployment. This auto fires harder than any other auto that I've handled, owned, and very happy that I have it in general. Um, Apparently, this is a very sought after piece. I have a lot of people interested in it, but I'm not getting rid of this thing. I mean, it is so sweet and so nice. I'm keeping it for a long time. A lot of things I like about this knife are the genuine hand craftsmanship from Hinderer themselves. The cool thing about Hinderer is that they're handcrafted in Ohio, handcrafted and hand tuned in Ohio. When you buy a Hinderer knife, you actually the person who tuned it puts their name on a signature card. And I think that's really cool. I have mine laying around in the box still that I've put away. Another thing that's really cool, in my opinion, is the hardware. Like having that flathead pivot is so convenient. Now, I haven't taken this apart yet. I don't know if I will or when I will. But having the flathead pivot makes it so much easier to be able to take something apart because you don't need specific tools. Now, the problem is that these body screws here are T6 screws, which is fine. But then the pocket clip screws are Phillips. So the most difficult thing about it is that you're gonna have to pull out three different bits or three different tools to take it apart. But the pivots, for me, the pivot's been one of the harder things to take apart, or to unscrew at least, because of how much Loctite's on it to obviously keep it secure. So having something like a flat blade, like a flat blade screwdriver, makes it just so much more convenient to take apart. Now, let me tell you, this thing is absolutely slicey. I've already ended up putting an edge on it just because it is a work knife. It's my work knife. So I did put an edge on it, and this thing takes an edge so well. It mirror polishes great. I used the Work Sharp Sharpener Elite Pro sharpener, I believe, and it takes a mirror edge just fine. It's super slicey. It shaves. It cuts perfect. Has no issues whatsoever. Here, let me show you. So here's just a random piece of paper. I mean, this thing it's a laser. It's hair popping sharp. Let me get these pieces of paper out of the way. Lay this back down. It is laser sharp. And it takes an edge really easy. I spent maybe 10 minutes on it to get that edge. And it's just, and that's not bragging, that's just strictly how nice the heat treat is on the blade steel. The blade steel is S45VN, which I was looking for Magna Cut. However, if I'm going to buy a Hinderer XM18, I want it to be the non-flipper version, and the version I want doesn't have the non-flipper version currently. Like, they've made them, but they're not currently making them, and so I'm waiting for the right one for me to come out. Specifically the Spanto version. I really like the harpoon style. But this one having the spear point is absolutely incredible. I mean, it's weird because it's like a drop point. Let's get this a little closer. It's like a drop point style, but then it still has the tip retention of a spear point. And so this edge, this specific blade style, feels like the absolute end all be all knife blade because you have the piercing capabilities of a spear point and you have the slicing geometry of a drop point, which are the two best in their class, in my opinion, blade styles. Now, I have a buddy who's an electrician, and he doesn't like spear point too much because it doesn't slice well. Obviously, because spear points are made strictly for penetration. But the cutting geometry on this instead, having that drop point style, and it's not super curved, but it's also not super flat on the cutting edge. I mean, this generally feels like something that you can put in any scenario, and it will do the job. Now, that's why I bought this. I wanted something that looked nice, looked pretty, that people would talk about, but also something that still took abuse, right? And that's what's so cool about Hinderer. So a little bit of history about Hinderer. Rick Hinderer himself was a firefighter slash EMT, so he was saving people every single day. His tools, people relied on his tools, right? And so when he started designing knives, at first when he started designing them, he got like strictly into showpieces. But now he's moved into a more rugged approach, which I think is really freaking cool. My cat just jumped up next to me. That was scary. Anyway, I think it's really cool that he's going for more of a rugged design. Now, I believe with the auto here, I don't know if you can tell. I haven't taken it apart yet, but I'm pretty sure here. Let's get this closed up. I believe that it's running on copper washers, which is really convenient for a work knife. Now, bearings are great, and I will never say bearings are a bad pivot system. However, the problem with bearings is that if you're out in the woods or out in the wilderness, and or say you're out on the ocean, the ceramic bearings are going to get damaged because of the grittiness, the dirt, the sand, the dust, doesn't matter what it is. It's going to ruin the action. Having copper washers instead kind of helps mitigate that factor a lot. So I think it's really cool that they are running on bronze washers, I'm pretty sure. So that makes it a lot more convenient for use for hard use. It's not something that you have to leave in your curio cabinet or only carry it for certain days. This is the knife that you can carry every single day. Now, I did get the auto version. I like autos, but I also love to fidget. So obviously autos are a little bit harder to fidget with because you have to use two hands or unsafely use one hand. But it is crazy how hard this thing fires. And the reason why this thing fires so hard is because there's a coil spring wrapped around the pivot here. The awesome thing is that there's 5 different levels. I believe Kizer did this as well with their crossbar lock. But there's 5 different tension levels. Now, when they first send it out to you like this, they set it at the highest level. I haven't adjusted it. I like how hard it fires. It feels reliable, feels robust. But I think it's really cool that they give you different tension options. So if you don't want something, if you can't handle, something firing so hard, then you have an opportunity to change that. Another cool thing about this, about the hinderer Eclipse, is that, so obviously I have the full titanium scale version, but the hardware is interchangeable with the manual version, which I think is really cool and really convenient, because a lot of autos you see now, that's it, right? Like a Benchmade Claymore, for example, they don't make different handles for it, so you're kind of just stuck with it. If you lose a screw and you have a already broken Eclipse, you can replace it with that. I think that is absolutely amazing that they were able to find a way to make this more robust as an auto, but you can still harvest parts from your manual or vice versa. Now, obviously, I personally wouldn't do that, just because I want to keep them all in complete. These aren't cheap. These are rather on the expensive side, but there's a reason for that. For one, being USA made, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And then especially adding on handcrafted onto that, yeah, they're going to be pricey, but they're going to do the job better than almost any single knife that you carry in your pocket. So yes, you're spending a big chunk, but it's kind of one of those buy once, cry once kind of things. Because then at that point, if this is the only knife you buy, it's the only knife you're ever going to buy. I bought this knife strictly for one, something that I can put to work for the rest of my life, and then something I can hand down to my kids, and my kids can hand it down to their grandkids, or my kids pawn it someday, because, I imagine kids would like to do that with how the economy is these days. But I won't be doing that, not if I don't have to. But the biggest thing I like about this is the full titanium scales. I like the milling in here. What's also really cool is on the inside, they did mill it a little bit more for weight reduction. It's already over 5 ounces. So it's a little bit more of a weighty pocket knife. So you're definitely going to feel it in your pocket. You're not going to lose it. But having that milling on the inside makes it really convenient. So you're not carrying a 10-ounce pocket knife. Because titanium is heavy. And it's titanium on both sides. Same milling, same everything. Just this side has a pocket clip. So I think it's really cool that they milled the inside. That way you have that lightweight robustness, because I feel like a lot of companies haven't figured that out yet. Either they mill it too much and it's too light and weak, or they don't mill it enough and it's a lot more heavy than it needs to be. The nice thing about this is that it also isn't too thick. I mean, let me compare it to a couple things so you have an idea of how thick this actually is. So here's just a couple different length comparisons. So you can see, so I picked the Vanguard Breaker because it's a little bit of a thicker knife, but it gives you a good idea of how long it is. As you can see, the Vanguard Breaker and the Spyderco PM2 are pretty similar to lengthwise to the hinderer Eclipse. So it's not a huge long knife. I believe it's 8 inches, 4 inches closed. So it's like 3.5, 4 inches on the blade. I'd have to confirm that. but it's like 3.5 inches on the blade and then 4.25 inches close. So it's like the perfect knife size in my opinion. For me at least, I like a little bit of a bigger knife, like an 8-inch knife. However, some people may not like that. So let me show you a couple of smaller options compared to it. So first, let's show the Kershaw Iridium, which is a great budget option, by the way. And then the Kizer Fouad. So the Kizer Fouad is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller than the Demco 80-20.5. If I had that one on me right now, I'd be showcasing that one as well. But you can see the Kizer Fouad is quite a bit smaller than it. The Kershaw Iridium is pretty much the same size, which again, absolutely great budget knife if you're looking for something budget that will do everything you need it to. But yeah, so it's on the larger side. It's not super small. It's not huge either. It's not unmanageable. Let's take a look at different carry profiles. Okay, let's compare it to the PM2 first. So you can see the PM2 is about the same. The hinderer might be just a little bit wider. Let's take a look at the breaker. I picked the breaker specifically for this. See, the breaker's a little bit thicker. So, not a huge knife. How does it look just closed up in your pocket? We'll compare that to the PM2. Okay, compare that, we'll say, to the Kershaw Iridium. So you can see that it's a little bit thicker on the handle, but it's not super unmanageable. The Spyderco PM2 is taller than it, and it's hands down probably my second favorite Spyderco. Lost my wording there for a second. It's my second favorite Spyderco, right below the Spyderco Shaman. But no, I have no complaints with this hinderer whatsoever. I think the build quality is absolutely amazing. I think the deployment of this is absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see what more hinderer does with these more robust knives. I highly recommend this. If you're willing to spend the price on it, do it. If you're not, I completely understand. And there are more affordable options. I wouldn't say better, but there are more affordable options. But if you want to invest the money, if you're willing to invest the money and want something that's going to last you a lifetime, pick up a hinderer, whether it be the Eclipse, the XM18. It doesn't matter what it is. Just pick up something from hinderer because they're doing an absolutely outstanding job. I've gotten the courtesy to be able to speak with them, and their customer service is absolutely amazing. They'll answer any question you have. If you have any issues, they'll replace whatever mechanism broke, whether it be the blade, whether it be the pivot, whether it be the button deployment. They'll take it, fix it for you, and I think that's so awesome. A lot of companies do that, but there's just some that don't quite do it as well as I feel hinderer will. I hope I never have to do it, but at the same time, sometimes we get put in situations where sometimes you have to. So, but this is absolutely an amazing EDC. I would recommend anyone carry this every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before I get finished, I want to talk about one more thing. And that is the giveaway for this beautiful Kizer militaw. I have officially hit my goal on TikTok of 500 followers, and I am so freaking ecstatic and so grateful. We surpassed my YouTube one, like, within the first couple of days of setting the goal of 100 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for the 100 subscribers on YouTube and growing. Thank you so much for the 500 followers on TikTok and growing. I really appreciate all of you, and I am so happy to be giving this away to the people who are helping make my dreams come true of being able to talk about EDC knives more. Obviously, I'm not perfect at it yet. As everyone knows, I'm only 22. I've only been doing this for a few months, so I'm still learning. But I can't wait to learn a whole hell of a lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to, if you want to enter this giveaway, today is the last day to enter the giveaway for the Kizer militaw. So if you want to enter the giveaway, there's a video titled Giveaway Alert on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is be following me on TikTok or subscribe to me on YouTube, or both preferably, but either way. So subscribe to one or both. Leave a comment on that video, and on that video you'll learn a lot more about the Kizer militaw itself. So please make sure you go on there if this is something that interests you at all, and you could be the lucky winner taking this one home. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next video.